Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. We're actually going to look at interesting thing today. Everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people think that China can 51% attack Bitcoin, and technically they could, but there are many reasons that why they wouldn't, and they're actually fairly thoroughly explained on why Bitcoin 51% attack would not be all that effective, or maybe even not economically feasible from China, because China does control something like 65 to 70% of Bitcoin hash. So China does account for more than half of the world's Bitcoin mining capacity. That much is true. But Jameson Lopp, the co-founder and CTO of Casa, has hosed down fears that Chinese miners are a threat to Bitcoin in a blog post on August 9th. Although many people have raised concerns over the concentration of so much hash power being located in China, and it's a reasonable concern, Loop pointed out that even in the event of a 51% attack on Bitcoin, attackers are limited on what they can actually do. To keep the attack going and to rewrite a lot of stuff, it would even cost more money. So it's really about the economic feasibility of this stuff. He explained that attackers can't steal people's Bitcoin arbitrarily, but they can double spend, nor change the consensus rules. They can't reverse valid transactions, so don't worry about that. The only thing they can do is double spend their own Bitcoin. And the more you want to double spend, the more money you have to actually spend to actually use the attack. And remember, Bitcoin's hash rate is ginormous. And the thing is, to seek maximum profit is to cash out via a crypto exchange into censorship-resistant crypto or stablecoin. However, this is one of the good things about KYC AML. More and more exchanges are getting KYC AML'd. So cashing out such a huge amount of crypto would definitely require KYC AML, and that's going to take time, and you would actually get caught. And it's actually, the more KYC and AML becomes prevalent, the harder it is to be able to cash out that Bitcoin. Now, you could try to swap that Bitcoin for Monero on like a peer-to-peer, but that would actually take a lot more work, and people would be able to track those transactions and tell who actually has those coins. So the thing about it has a really big hash rate. People would actually notice, and the fact that they can actually track the transactions is one of the reasons that they actually haven't really attacked Bitcoin yet. Now, they've attacked some of the other smaller coins because they're easier to attack, but Bitcoin is much, much harder to attack. However, this presents big problems in terms of withdrawal limits and KYC. So if you attack Bitcoin, you actually want to withdraw a lot of money at the same time. Of course, having everything KYC AML kind of puts kind of a sock in all of this, and it makes it very, very hard. It also doesn't make much economical sense for attackers to dump a big chunk of Bitcoin at once, because obviously that would actually affect the price, and you would be actually selling into your own Bitcoin, which would cost you money, which may make it unfeasible for you to attack with a 51% attack. Now, the Chinese government can actually take over, I guess, certain Bitcoin facilities, and you are right, but people in other countries would actually notice. And here's the thing. Loop also thinks it'd be nearly impossible for a nation state to get in total control of mining facilities, and that Bitcoin stakeholders would immediately take emergency actions against such an act. Even if the attack shifts from targeting individual mining facilities to an easier attack of mining, or 70% of the hash power in China is coordinated via fewer than 10 mining pools, people can actually switch mining pools, and they don't have to use a Chinese mining pool. So if it got out that Bitcoin was being attacked, you might be able to do it for a while, but then everyone who is mining Bitcoin would just simply switch pools, and you would no longer have the 51% power. It's also difficult to pull off covertly, as there are plenty of independent companies putting out social media alerts against malicious actors. So if someone were trying to do this, there's plenty of people on Twitter, Facebook, etc., that would actually alert the community, and they would actually take action, and it would screw over your attack. Even if a nation state like China tried to seize all the mining facilities at once, it would take them a while to do that, first of all. And then during that time, people could easily switch over to other pools that are not in China, so they wouldn't actually have power. So it's actually, to pull off a Bitcoin attack of any magnitude is actually much, much more complicated than people actually think. So it's not quite as risky as people think. Yes, there is still a risk because China has so much hash power, but the thing is, actually taking over X amount of hash power with X amount of hash power with a certain amount of time without having the miners switch over to another pool is not quite as easy. So it's hard to imagine a scenario in which a state actor would be able to quickly and covertly seize enough hash power to perform an ongoing attack that lasts more than a few hours. According to Lopp, The reason hash power has been concentrated in China ever since 2015 is due to the fact that most of the mining chips are produced in Asia. Most importantly, China also has an abundance of cheap energy, especially during the rainy season in Sichuan, and has political and economic stability to facilitate mining infrastructures. However, that's changing because U.S. states of Texas and Wyoming are getting in on the game, and they also have very cheap, like energy prices, and they have lots and lots of space because Western Texas is pretty much barren, and Wyoming's mostly pretty barren. And you can actually take advantage of like wind and solar power in those places. So the U.S. is going to take over part of that mining power. So the threat of China actually seizing the Bitcoin mining engine is actually not as great as people think. Yes, it still sucks that so much of the mining power is gathered there, but the threat is little less than we actually think. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.